Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I will be explaining why, in my opinion, machines have souls. Now, obviously, I don't think that, for example, a car has like a, like a soul, right? Like a metaphysical soul. But I think that humans, we give machines souls, right? We kind of project souls onto machines. For example, there was the Mars rover Opportunity, right? It was, I believe it was, sent to Mars in like 2005 or something. And it stayed in for a long time and it exceeded, our expectations by 60 times. It traveled like 40 kilometers, which is like 25 miles. And, in like 2019, it kind of, you know, bit the bullet, it
Got
kind
your
of,
back.
oh, she's not even okay. She, it died, right? The robot died and it sent back home a message, right? Now, this message was just a data stream, but it got interpreted by a scientist at NASA, if I'm right, Jacob Margoyles, and he tweeted a translation of the last data stream sent by Opportunity, and what how he translated it is basically here it goes. My battery is low and it's getting dark. Now, this is a very, I would say, poetic kind of last words, right? That's supposedly how he interpreted the last data transmission by the Mars rover Opportunity. And it's quite meaningful and it obviously touched a lot of people, right? It was quite special. And many people, felt that, the opportunity was something like Wally, for example, right? Wally is a very good kind of example of humans projecting a soul onto an inanimate object, which is actually called a- um, anthropomorphism, right? And definitely said that wrong. But anthropomorphism is the attribution of human traits or emotions or intentions to non-human entities, right? And, obviously, I literally made a video recently where I explained why souls don't exist. But in that video, I did not say that they don't I said that they don't exist in the usual kind of religious, metaphysical way. I kind of explained that a soul is how we perceive, for example, a human being, right? How they react, how they, not exactly a personality, but it's kind of, it's something different. I can't explain it perfectly, obviously, but, something like that. Now, another kind of example of a robot, of humans anthropomorphizing a robot, is the I Can't Help Myself robot, which was an art installation where basically there was just this robot arm and it had fluid on the floor and it just kept cleaning the fluid up. Like the fluid looked like it had spilled from it, right? Like blood or something, and the robot was just cleaning it up. But the problem is that whenever it cleaned it up, it just spilled back out. So it was like for 2 years straight, it was just cleaning up whatever liquid was there, which looked like blood, and it died. And I say it died as if it was alive, even though it was just a robot arm. But that's how everybody put it because we projected a soul onto it. It was like this kind of robot which was helpless and sad, and humans felt really kind of, I would say, emotional towards it, right? Now, I think that's the most kind of best example of humans anthropomorphizing a machine. But I also think that machines kind of have the ability to act sentient, right? And that's where I want to talk about strand beasts, which are these big kind of machines, right? They're made of straw, and I forgot how exactly how they're made: straw and zip ties, something like that, right? Oh, we got a we got an assassin, yo! All right, no, but seriously, okay, he's doing damage. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the video, please check that subscribe button. I know every YouTuber asks for it, but I'm, especially me, I'm a small content creator. Like, that stuff means like a lot to me, right? I check my analytics and I see every like person that subscribes, man. it makes my day, to be honest. Obviously, you don't have to do it if you don't like the content, if you don't want to see more of this. But if you're enjoying this video and you want to see more, consider liking, subscribing, whatever. And yeah, continue. All right, we got him, which took a bit longer than I expected, but it's fine. All right, so as I was saying about the Strand Beasts. Now, the Strand Beast is a machine, kind of a mechanical being made of straw and of zip ties, right? And they, and they walk along. They're supposed to basically walk along the seaside, right? And just kind of walk like an animal. And the creator of these Strand Beasts is trying to, create literal neurons out of straw. There's a really good video, I believe it was by Vertasium. He perfectly explains, everything about him. A really great video. Just check out Strand Beasts online. But as I was saying, those Strand Beasts, they act in a very, how do I put this, animalistic way, right? They act almost as if they really have a soul, and that's just not humans anthropomorphizing, them, but that's just simply that we have created something that mimics kind of real life so well that it almost is a new life form, right? That's what I'm kind of trying to get at. Now, the next kind of point I wanted to say, is that I was listening to Jeremy Clarkson speak about cars, and here's, oh my God, these fucking wolves! Just freaking die already, please. Yeah. Okay, GG's. And he said this now, and I quote: "We have an unshakable belief that cars are living entities." Well, not a Toyota Corolla. And that's what he said. That is from a YouTube video. Clarkson explains cars. Now, that's a very small quote. It doesn't really tell the whole story, but it very well articulates kind of how many car people anthropomorphize them, right? And how they proclaim them to have souls. Now, what he also said was that cars, they have imperfections, right? You're driving a car, it breaks down or something, or your car has some sort of issue, and that's what makes it more human, right? Because they're not perfect. Humans are not perfect. We are very, very, I would say, not. We have a lot of problems, right? Even a perfectly healthy human has some sort of issue, right? There's no such thing as a perfectly healthy human, and I'm talking like, yeah, you can maybe be perfectly healthy biologically, but you might not have it all up there in the mind. You're gonna have some sort of a kink, some sort of a thing, some sort of a quirk, right? And that's kind of what makes also machines more human and have a soul, is when they have some sort of imperfection, right? But that's basically just, it helps us anthropomorphize them. Now, my stance on this, right, as I've collected all of this information, I've researched all of these kind of machines that have become viewed as, I would say, sentient, right, as alive, and it's that machines don't have souls, as in they don't possess cognitive ability, right? They don't think. However, from the perspective of a human, they behave in somewhat humane and a sentient way. Now, their flaws are usually what makes them more human, right? Now, basically what I'm saying is that, yeah, if you want to look at it as a purely empirical scientific thing, machines don't have souls. In fact, I think nothing has souls, because I think souls are really just uh everything about souls is anthropomorphized, right? I think but I have a whole video on that, right? But we, as humans, we have the ability to project a soul onto something and make it alive, right? It doesn't have to be actually sentient or alive or thinking or self-aware. We can just literally just say, "You, my friend, yes, you have a soul," right? Because we are very emotional beings, right? We perceive the world. Obviously, everybody would want to, perceive the world from a purely logical standpoint, right? Like that's a tree, that's some grass, and I don't really care about it. But humans, no, we have a whole part in our brains associated with, emotions and everything else, and we have a great kind of, I wouldn't call it a superpower, but I think that's what makes us unique and gives us the ability to create things like art, right? Things like, for example, this game Skyrim I'm playing, it wouldn't be this good if the people making it wouldn't have these kind of very deep emotions, right? And very deep creative traits. It would be, at best just a recreation of reality, right? If, for example, a very logical race would have created it, right? But humans, we are very unique, and to be honest, we live our lives subjectively, right? We live our lives from the perspective of ourselves, like what we see, what we hear, what we think, and that's what our whole lives are based on. Now, obviously, we have the ability to be objective, right? We have the ability to kind of override those emotions, override our subjective perspectives, with with technology, with some sort of logic, and get to a objective reality which is not based on our primitive perceptions and our kind of feelings about them, right? But usually that's not how humans work. We perceive the world, and we, for example, we see a Mars rover. Well, not exactly see it, but we communicate with a Mars rover, which is away from Earth for 10 years, and then it dies and it sends out a message, and we interpret it in a very poetic way. I mean, that's obviously everybody knows it's just a rover, didn't actually have feelings, but we have feelings, right? We feel for it. That's kind of my point, is that we as humans, we feel for things, right? That's why we really care about stuff like about cars, right? We feel for them. They don't have to feel, they just have to be, right? And we project our feelings onto them, which in a way is also kind of a, I would say, a coping mechanism, a bit like that. Now, in this video, I didn't really touch upon computers and artificial intelligence because they are artificial intelligence is the attempt of recreating human consciousness, like literally, right? It's not what I kind of was talking about. And computers, they also fall into the same category, I would say, as like a car, right? Because like I have my computer. I've had it for like 3 years, and I'm gonna be honest. I've anthropomorphized, right? When it breaks down, I talk to it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I was fixing it the other day, and I was talking to it. Right now, obviously, that sounds crazy. Like, it's a metal box, but I'm just human, right? I don't know if anybody else does that, but I know that people speak to cars and stuff. So I don't think it's the biggest sin, right? Or sign of mental illness. But in general, uh, is that an actual thing standing in the way? I mean, excuse me. I wanna walk the road, not get beaten to death by a stick, or a bone rather. Well, I'll just avoid it then. But yeah, that's kind of my main point. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously, like if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Please subscribe if you can. I really appreciate the subscribes. And tell me in the comments what you thought about this, my take on this, right? Obviously, just give me your opinion. Don't be rude, right? Because some people, they come into the comments and they're just mean, which is totally understandable. But that's just this ban. But yeah. So yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, and goodbye.